Hey, welcome. And in this video, I'm going to share with you a special guest that we had come into the Automation Station Premium community and answer questions for our members. Now, Quinn Nolan is very special. So, fun fact, I was once a client of Quinn Nolan's. I was a real estate investor. He runs real estate ads for real estate investors. He has a YouTube channel with over 12,000 subscribers. He is one of 𝐻𝐻𝐿evel's top affiliates. He runs a marketing agency that's consistently doing $15,000 to $20,000 a month. And he's a one-man shop. He tells us how he does it. He talks about discipline. He talks about his niche. He talks about how he gets consistent results, how he gets clients, how he converts clients, how he serves his clients. Without further ado, let's just hop into the recording. Quinn Nolan. For those of you who don't know who Quinn is, one, I think you're missing out, and I don't say that so that you feel bad about yourself, but search his name on YouTube. Quinn Nolan is a lot of the reason why I create content the way I do today. Fun fact, I was a client of Quinn's maybe 3 years ago now as a real estate investor. He was running my Facebook ads. He's the first ad agency I'd ever hired. And so from that point, I don't know what happened there that we just became friends in a way and just always kept in touch over the years, even as I've gone in and out of real estate investing. So I got to see Quinn build his YouTube channel. I got to see the way he taught people his raw sort of style of screen share, laying out a plan, long videos, but very informative and very generous, not holding anything back. He talks numbers, he talks strategies, systems, and just gives it all out there, just very abundantly. And I really like that about you, Quinn. Quinn, yeah, you're welcome. Quinn also, I've seen it on other podcasts and stuff. I think I saw him come on 𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐦𝐞𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐦𝐩𝐬 as sort of a spotlight session where he was doing over $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue, and he was a single person agency, and that stuck out to me because I am a side hustle guy. I have a full-time job, like most of you guys know, and I'm always looking for ways to just be like lean and mean. And Quinn seems, I'm not gonna act like he's probably figured it all out. I'm sure his life is full of struggles like everybody else. He's figured out something that I haven't and that I want to emulate. And so that's significant. He's also one of 𝐻𝐻𝐿evel's top affiliates. I don't know how much he makes every month, but I know that he has a Tesla paid for by 𝐻𝐻𝐿evel. I don't know what the numbers are there, but it's probably significant if they're paying for your Tesla payment. So that's awesome. And then lastly, sales style. Okay. I say this all the time. I'm not a sales guy. I'm a technical guy. I focus on tech fundamentals. I love making content showing you how the ones and zeros move. But sales wise, one of the things that repels me from sales is if I read like a Grant Cardone book or a Russell Brunson book, it's just like very mental gymnastics that doesn't vibe with my personality. But something significant that stuck out about Quinn's sales style back when I was looking for ad agencies, he pitched me a $5,000 setup fee at the time and like $1,500 a month. And it might have been like one of the more expensive ones that I heard, but for some reason, that entire conversation didn't seem like a sales pitch. It was more of a discovery call, it was more organic. And I just told Quinn right before this, we were on a call, I watched that sales video like 4 times after the fact. I probably still have the recording somewhere in my email. And if I watched it again, I'd probably learn something from it. So that was significant. My intent for today, there's no agenda. I didn't ask Quinn to prepare anything formal to give you guys. I'm going to let Quinn have the floor here just to talk a little bit, but those are some highlights that I had. And I really want this to be interactive with you guys. Please ask the questions. Last week we had a guest speaker in and you guys asked great questions. Continue to ask those. Put them in the chat. Put your hand up, unmute, and interact. Without further ado, Quinn, the floor is yours, man.
Sweet. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah. If anyone has any questions or if you want to share anything, Justin, to get us started, it's up to you. But yeah, if anyone has anything.
Yeah, can you, just to get us started, can you tell us, like, right now, as an agency, what are you focused on? What kind of clients do you serve? And if you have, like, different pockets of revenue in this online space, what are they?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So my approach is to just hyper focus on one specific client avatar that I can provide services for. So that currently and has been for about 5 years. I used to have a bunch of different niches and businesses that I served, but currently right now that's real estate investors. That can be a combination of people that are flipping properties or people that are wholesaling properties, but that's my client avatar. And so because of that, it makes the back end operation super simple and streamlined. I can sign up a client, install our I view my service as a product. And so I'm never, if I ever find myself like customizing a bunch of stuff or creating a bunch of new stuff, I've either probably deviated from the avatar, or I deviated like in my discipline to the offer that I have. So it took me a while to learn that, but I just have one specific avatar, and that one service, it's like a productized service. So I just have one. If you got, most of you, I'm guessing, are familiar with Go High Level, but I just have one snapshot there, and I've used UpHex to templatize all of my ads, and I basically just duplicate that formula. And in terms of the revenue itself, I average around 15,000 per month from my agency. When I have higher months, like I think not last month, but the month before that, I think it actually was higher than what I had sent over to Sam. But I think it was like 24,000, and that was where I did 2 pay in fulls where people will pay like $5,000. So I sold 2 of those. But on average, I'm going to be around $15,000 from my agency, and I design it in a way that's conducive to like the lifestyle that I want to live. So I've been also doing this for 8 years, and so I have a lot of experience with just clients and what they say they want, and experience with just different types of clients. For me, I like to have the agency as simple as possible. And so for me, the sources of that income from the agency will come from the done for you service, where people will pay $1,000 or more per month for me to run their ads. And then the secondary source from that agency is people that will run their own ads from my Go High Level. So I have the same exact product priced differently with 2 different delivery mechanisms. So someone can say, "Hey, I want to run ads with you, and I want you to do it for me." So they'll pay me $1,100, and I will set up their ads, set up their account, and then manage the ads, which really, with my level of experience, and once you understand how ads work and different templates, it really doesn't or shouldn't be taking you a lot of time to actually manage the actual ads. The majority of the time is going to be just the initial setup and stuff like that. It's a really light workload. And in terms of the second stream, it's where people can run their own ads from my Go High Level account. So what that looks like is somebody will watch my YouTube videos. They'll go to my website, and they'll see a video, and they basically can pay. And once they pay, that creates their account with me, and I have inside of there UpHex, so they just can choose from all the templates that I use and just run their own ads. And I started doing that, I have to look, I think it was like 2 years, but I've made about, I think it's 2 years or a year and a half, whatever it was, the average per year was like 65, 70,000 annually from the SaaS. That's not like affiliate income or anything. So I found that to be pretty good. It's not great, but like in addition to the done for you services, these people run their own ads. So there's virtually no fulfillment. So I basically just took what worked when I did it by hand for people, and then I turned it into a do-it-yourself solution. So it'll range between $8,000 to $10,000 from my agency, just if there's not any big pay in fulls, and then 5,000 to 6,000 on the SaaS. And then at one point though, I did have, I think it was like 17 done for you clients, and they were all paying 1,000 a month. So I've seen, and that kind of moves hand in hand with the real estate market as well. The real estate market was a little bit different a few years ago as well. But overall, I've been consistent. And I think that's the main thing, is there's going to be new trends and new tools and new softwares and stuff to do. But I've just put my head down and stuck with it, and I've never worked a job. I've never worked a job, so I was able to fully support myself and figure it out through selling these types of services. And just for context too, because I know some of you are selling automations and maybe not just ads and stuff, but I started with websites. I've sold automation. So I understand the full like spectrum of like essentially any digital service or product you could sell to these types of businesses. So that's how that breaks down. And I don't know if you
Yeah, Quinn, I wrote down 5 or 6 things that I have questions about, but I wanna peel the onion back a little bit. You said something or you mentioned sort of as a theme of, like, simplicity, like, 1, you've productized, you've identified your ideal customer, and you find yourself sometimes straying away from the core, and then you come back to the core product. What are the core components of that product right now? So you mentioned UpX ads or ad templates. What
Mhm.
else is a part of that system? Let's start with the done for you system. What makes
Yeah.
up Quinn's system there?
Yeah, it's the ads and it's one funnel, and then really it's two automations. They're just follow-up text and emails to the leads, and then an additional automation, which is the conversation AI. So when those leads engage with the automation, they get triggered into that, which will hopefully convert them into appointments. So templated ads, like I've been using the same in UpHex. If you're not familiar, what it can do is it can track your metrics from like a specific ad. And I've only been using UpHex for the last few years, so it doesn't have all the data from when I like originally started running ads, but I have this one ugly old ad image, and that thing has gotten like 3,000 leads. And when I start a client and I get them signed up, it's like I'm not starting from scratch and like picking a new niche and okay, what ad do I run and do I do a video and what's going to work? So it just creates a real clean process on the back end where I know that I got my ad, I have my funnel. That funnel, I don't know how many leads that funnel has passed through, and then the automation, right? And so it's like those three things, if you simplify it, just the templated ads driving traffic to the funnel, and then very simple automations that nurture and engage the lead. And then if they do happen to engage, they start interacting with the Go High Levels bot. And that's the core thing in the offer. That's the core thing even when I do like a presentation. I just show that. Like I don't really show anything else. Here's a live ad account. Here's the ads we're running. Here's the funnel we're going to take your traffic to. Once they fill out this form, here's the automation they get. If they respond, they go to this bot and they book an appointment. And that's all I talk about.
That ugly ad, by chance, is it the static quad with the red box in the middle?
Yeah, I ran it with you. It was just yours was like a North Carolina, but yeah, it's that.
That
Yep.
that ad, I'll share it in the group, guys, after the call. If I forget, somebody please remind me. But that ad, fun fact, I've repurposed it, and Brandon asked here about mobile homes, mobile home investors. I'll ask that question here in a second, but I've ran that ad for I was just telling you about my mobile home campaign. Static quad with mobile homes, red box in the middle, we buy mobile homes, crushed it. And then also in the home service space, same thing. I did
Yep.
decorative concrete contractors. I took 4 pictures of the decorative concrete curbing, put a red box in the middle, and put free estimates, $100 off or whatever. Crushes it. Crushes videos and everything. So it's a
Totally. Yep.
universal ad. It's really simple too. So I'll be sure to share it with you guys. And yeah, look, Brandon says he knows the ad. He's seen it. He's seen people use it. That's very important to highlight, though. The core components of that system, one of the reasons I asked that question is because starting on June 18th, we're going to build a SaaS for the community. And I, in the post, I put the core components, and I think mine had a little bit more. I might need to trim mine down a little bit. But my intent with that SaaS and that snapshot is to just keep things simple because over time, like you've got to learn, you've been doing this for 8 years. I started in 2019. I'm technical, you're technical too. Like, you just tend to overcomplicate things. And people in this group, unfortunately, have probably come in from watching me like configure a voice AI bot or talk about conversational text bots that reach out to APIs and do all this crazy stuff, which is good to know, right? It's good to understand how systems work, but sometimes the simplicity is what sells. And in your case, you've been consistently doing 15, 20, 25K every once in a while, just keeping things super simple, productized, low key, just yourself. So I think that's important
Yeah.
to highlight. Let me ask some questions here. And then I have a few questions myself, but I don't want to hog the mic. But Larry says he's looking at embracing your methodology to generate leads for real estate investors who invest in land and not homes. So it's not necessarily a question, but if Larry's looking for land investors and doing this for land investors, would any of the core components really change, in your opinion?
No, and yeah, so specifically with land, I did run that for somebody at one point in time and it worked. So it was the same. Those 3 components are pretty much universal if you're that's just my specific, like, methodology and philosophy. There's some people that they're gonna install cold callers to call your leads, right? I just never wanted to do that. So the ads, the funnel, the follow up is like universal. And then specifically for the ad, I did the same thing. I just took the quad, I guess we'll call it the quad ad. I've never heard that before, but
Yeah.
the quad. And you just put 4 photos of land and maybe make sure that the land has like a red line around the parcel or whatever, and then just put in something in that red text. So that's what I would say. And I did run ads for people that were looking for land, and it was the same process. And I'm confident with really most niches that are service-based businesses, like, because I've seen people in my group and stuff where it's solar. It's the same thing, solar and real estate agents and mortgage loan officers. It's all the core stuff that's the same. Yeah, I recommend having it very simple or else it's going to be pretty easy to get lost.
It's not rocket surgery. I talk about that all the time, man. And a lot of times people try to hide behind complexity, and it's not really that complex. If you put together the ad sets and keep it simple, put some money behind it, you'd probably be surprised with some of the results that you get.
Yeah, that's, yeah, totally.
Brandon said, have you had any success working with mobile home investors specifically? I used to be in that space, but many of the investors do not want to invest in marketing, it seems.
One of the guys in my group, like, what he does is like all he does is mobile homes. He's actually in North Carolina as well. But his method for, I don't know if Brandon means like finding mobile home like owners that are looking to sell.
I think he means like working, like running, being an agency for mobile home investors, the same way you are for like
Got it.
home.
Um, No, I haven't. No, I have not seen a segment of the market that I think that's a very specific market, and I wouldn't say that wouldn't work. I just haven't personally worked with clients that were only looking for mobile homes, but I know you ran a campaign that did well with that. Yeah, so I think it's just as long as there's demand, right? If you can, like, the way I have done this, and this is how I actually built the investor agency, was an investor approached me. I was at that point in time doing like real estate agents, and I had like basically 5 different like businesses, it felt like, at once. And long story short, he was paying for an agency to run his ads, and he wanted to work with me and see if I could take what I've done and apply it to what he was looking to do, which was off market deals. And I just modeled what worked. And so I would look at if there are agencies that are succeeding with mobile home investors, because it's not to say you can't be the first one to do something, but for me, the point of this business is like it's more of a lifestyle business, and I'm not really trying to pioneer a concept, or I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel with this. So for me, I think if you just find a demand for people that are succeeding helping mobile home investors, then I think it's fair game to model it. I would just verify that you have demand, because there are a ton of other industries that are more like, yeah, these people are buying services, they're getting results from the ads or the automation, and it's more about, because I look at it like there's three problems that you have to solve in the agency, right? Like you have to be able to sell them and come up with your offer, and then you have to be able to get them results, and they have to want it, right? And it has to make the economics of like them paying you and what you're delivering has to make sense. So High Level talks about it on their site. It's like the traffic or capture, nurture, close, right? So in my opinion, it's like I'd rather just have to solve one of those problems. So if I can see an agency is succeeding with a business, like a specific business, and there's a bunch of them, then I know that it's viable. And then if I see that they're like running ads or they're getting success as well, like getting those people results, then my only challenge is, what do I have to say? How do I find these people to start a conversation with them so that I can basically sell them my version of that thing? Because if I don't know if it's viable, I don't know if it works, I don't know if people want it. Now I got to solve three problems versus if I can find someone buying something already and they're willing to spend the money on it and it's working for them, then I just got to figure out how to on more appointments with those types of people. So I think if you follow that framework and find people helping mobile home investors like with whatever's similar service you're going to offer, then I would model it. But outside of that like framework, I wouldn't know off the top like.
Yeah, I was recently on a call with a guy named Arden, shout out Arden, but he consults on YouTube stuff, and had this analogy that, hey man, you don't want to just be making content for just anybody. You want to find the river and then stand in the middle of the river because there's already people who are interested. And I think in the same way that like you're talking,
Yeah.
try to find a demand. If there's demand out there, if there's other agencies out there, there's competition there, like, you just need to put yourself in the middle of that river in order to catch some fish.
Yeah.
Catch all of them, but you'll catch a few of them.
And I think it's important too that if you know that there's an untapped problem that people aren't solving, then I think it's different, right? If you have conviction, maybe you experience the problem or people, and maybe they just don't hang out online or specific things that most people look at, then it's different. But if you're wanting to create a specific model, like my model is the ads, the funnel, and then basically charging for that service, then I know that the agencies that provide similar services, like they're going to be on YouTube, they're going to be on Facebook. Like I can distill where they would hang out and what they're doing to get success and see if it makes sense for me. Okay, there's multiple agencies right now running ads to find investors. And I've even had some of the top agencies message me about my YouTube because they weren't doing YouTube, right? So they're all doing ads and now they see me doing YouTube and then they go do YouTube. So I think if you can just break it down to those fundamental things, like if you're not absolutely certain that the problem has enough demand for people to buy it and you're wanting to do a specific model, like you should, the way I tell some of the people I help with this is like when they're trying to see if they can get a client results on Facebook ads, I'm like, you should be able to find at least 100 ads running right now towards that offer. If you're trying to make a new niche, I'm just not seeing why put yourself through that. Like I could find a bunch of ads for motivated sellers right now. So if I know that's where there's demand and people are converting and they're closing deals and they're making money, like I'd rather just find the people that would buy those ads than try to start from scratch. So
That's so good, man. That's a good approach to take, especially if you're still trying to figure out like your niche and stuff. I think that's very helpful advice. Jamal Brown says, which paid ads model do you like more and why? And what he's referencing is your done for you service versus your DIY approach. Which one do you appreciate more as an agency?
look,
Right or wrong?
it's nice when I wake up in the morning and there's signups, right? And I don't set anything up and people run their ads, right? I think you have to get clear about what you want to. You, I think, can in the shorter term make more as a done for you because it's, hey, I'm going to do this for you. You don't have to worry about it. But I think if I didn't have YouTube and I was starting from zero, I do feel like it would be pretty hard to get traction with the software personally. So, yeah, what I appreciate more is the people running their own ads. There are some drawbacks to it, right? People will quit sooner because you're not with them, you're not working with them, you're not like coaching them. Sometimes when you run the ads or you're working with them, you have to educate them. Hey, don't get discouraged. Like we spent $100 or whatever and you didn't get a lead or whatever their experience is, and you're like guiding them through it. Whereas when they're doing it on their own, it's like they may run an ad for a day and then not really know what to expect. And then they just think that it doesn't work. But in terms of just pure, like, I think economics of the model and the potential, I think software itself has a higher potential than done for you. But I also think that it's a challenge, like, to actually like, if I were going person to person, trying to convince someone to run their own ads, I think I'd get a lot of pushback. But I think because I have my channel, it's very educational and, like, technical, I get clients that have that hybrid approach where, like, they wanna learn the marketing, but they also do the business. But in just pure what benefits me the most, what do I enjoy? It's yeah, if someone's gonna watch videos, sign up, buy something, do all the work, take all the burden, and I just create the system, like, I'll take that over time. But like I said, I think that's easier said than done, especially if you don't have a brand or something. If you try and run ads to get clients and you're selling it for $100 a month, you're going to get burned pretty fast. So I think that is in a separate environment just because I do have my following. So I'm cognizant of that. But
I think that's a good point though, man. I tell people and all the time too is start YouTube content, man. YouTube's been powerful for me. It's what's built this community and it doesn't have to be perfect. And even if you think you don't have something to talk about, I'm pretty sure you do. Even if it's just your journey trying to figure out how to get started, all that stuff's very useful to somebody and somebody to appreciate it. And you could probably attest to it. Like the inbound lead flow from YouTube is insane. It's people are really warm and it's also like very consistent. I
yeah, there's that's like the thing that I tell my community too is look, at the end of the day, I can teach you this model, teach you that model, and do the stuff I've done. And but at the end of the day, like those are all, in my opinion, possible because of my YouTube. And I'm not ignorant to that because I think if you don't aren't aware of that, you just follow blindly what somebody's saying. But you have to piece it together. And I'm very like open and transparent with my audience where I'm like, look, they see me selling the software and getting payments from that, and I'm like, who knows how many hours it took me to learn what I've learned and then put it into video and all these things line up where then yes, somebody buys. So I think just I'm able to put myself in the shoes of somebody that's okay, where are you actually at, and then what's the best strategy to go based on that. Because I built all of what I'm doing like from zero. I didn't have any help. I guess we all have help from our clients and people that support us, but like I dropped out of school, I didn't work a job, and I just had to figure this stuff out. So I know the reality of good luck just selling the software. Yeah,
That
I think
I'm in one of your communities and you shared a testimonial, and there are other questions in this chat that I'll do my best to get to, but I think this is a good point to highlight. So you say, "Hey, I'm not blind to the fact that my YouTube is contributing to a lot of my success," and that shouldn't be an excuse for anybody. Like Quinn started at some point, but you had a guy named ḵ𝐼𝐸𝐦𝐻𝐸 who's also in this community, but he's not on the call right now. But ḵ𝐼𝐸𝐻𝐸, you recently posted like a testimonial, or he did, about getting clients. He got like his first client. Is that right?
yeah.
How did he
Yep.
do I don't think Jaime has a YouTube channel. How did he do that? Like, how did he go about that?
Yeah, so the way that helping people one-on-one has really I mean, when I do my group calls, I see it there too, but then when I'm with someone one-on-one, I really lock into that concept of where is this person actually at? Because a lot of the time people ask what I'm doing and am I doing the SaaS, and then they think they should do that. And when I was talking to Jaime, it was very clear that yes, he can make content, but content can take some time and you're not just going to pop off right away and get literal leads for your agency business, right? You can go viral probably faster than getting targeted leads for an agency. So I just was really through conversation, I'm like, look, I had this breakthrough and I did this before, but the breakthrough was okay, if I'm teaching him how to sell essentially leads, right? That's what he's selling to these businesses. And most businesses or agencies, they want to go and charge $1,000 a month. And then they expect to run an ad, get someone on the phone, get them to pay, and then they get their retainer, and then they just make a profit from the ads. Too, from your product, it's not, you don't just run the ads and you make money. There's more to it. So I was like, if I just simplify this down to its core element, if he can't sell 10 leads or 20 leads at a time, then I need to get him to focus on selling one. And once I had that breakthrough, I was like, that's what I'm going to lead with. That's what I'm going to tell people, because I'm selling $1,000 a month of worth of leads, right? Or $5,000 up front. But underneath it all, that is what they're buying, right? They're buying, that's the result that they want. So I just had this breakthrough of let's do a pay per lead. And once you lock in on that, then you don't have to worry about getting people to commit for a month or 2 months or whatever. Just sell them one lead. That'll get you on the phone with people. It'll drop their guard. And if you're actually good, you should be able to deliver on that one lead. So it's actually shrinking the whole business model down into really its core components, right? You have to be able to sell, you have to be able to deliver the product, and they have to be happy with it. So why try and do it with $10,000 when you've never done it before versus just splinter off one little piece of it, give them one lead, see if you can sell one lead to them, and then see if you can deliver one lead. So I just took that and I was like, I just had this breakthrough, and I'm like, we're running an ad, pay per lead. He ran the ad and he's gotten 3 people now, and he's getting the hang of it. And so I said, okay, cool. So when you're comfortable, you can take the same thing we're already doing and just, instead of selling them one lead at a time, sell them 10. And now you got your retainer. Now you say, hey, the way it works is you pay X per lead and you buy 10 up front. So when I just simplified it down because I could just tell he was thinking about all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, just sell one lead to one person. And once he did that, he really started to see, wait, this is how it works. I think when you raise the price and you sell your agency and your services, you start to get into all this bloat. Here's what we do. Here's why we're different. Here, you start selling the thing they don't really want, but it is a part of the service. And once I just got them to lock in on just sell them one lead, and I think you can do that with automations too. Sell them one lead, right? Don't sell your whole workflow. Say, I'll pay you 50, or you pay me $50 per lead. Once you have a call with them, you'll see if they have a traffic problem. Maybe they have old leads, and then you plug in your automation on that. And you pause it after you get them the one lead and say, hey, I got you the one lead. Here it is. If you want me to do more, I'll run it through the rest of your list, or then you could run the ads, whatever. So yeah, that's what we did with him. And that's what I'm leading with now on just some of my content, because people just
Low
get so
threat.
lost.
It's low threat, and, like, I talk about it with pricing too, like, folks are really concerned with pricing and how much should I charge and stuff, and especially up front, man, in the beginning, I just think it's more important to get those reps. Like, right now, Chaim is selling a lead at a time. Like, he shows up differently after he's sold 10 leads, and now he's asking for a 10-lead retainer. Like, in his mind, in his body, in his soul, he knows he can deliver on that, and so that shows over a Zoom call, that shows in your tonality, and it makes a difference in your sales process. So that's awesome. I like that you distilled it like that. Eric has a bunch of questions here, and Eric, a lot of these he covered, but there is one thing here at the end that I'll hone in on. He says, "What are some mistakes that you've learned along the way, just in general? Your 8 years of experience. Let's just like, what's one mistake that has probably been more valuable than others?"
Not being willing to say no. I think I used to just say yes a lot, and that kind of in the short term would bring money or sales or like in the short term appeared to be moving, but it wasn't leading me toward my actual long-term vision of what I wanted, which is a simple agency. I wanna wake up, add value to my niche, and be able to get customers because I'm adding value. I don't wanna have to get on calls and sell people and convince them. And so I think just I compromised a lot, and I didn't really trust in the value that I was bringing to people. And because I didn't do that, I would waver and then just go off what they wanted to do, and then over time, that would compound, and I would look up and I'm like, I'm doing the same damn thing over and over with different people and the same pattern and the same feedback loop. And I'm not really creating like that freedom model that I actually want to. And there's many, I could list a lot of mistakes, but I would say that was one of
Do
the biggest
you
ones early on.
do you think that had to happen in order for you to get where you're at now? Or do you think if you could go back in time, which I know you can't, but if you would have just started saying no earlier, you'd be further along?
No, I think it did have to happen that way because I really now value my yes. If I'm going to do it, like I'm all in on it. And when I'm a no, it's like there's a yes inside that no because either I'm creating the space for somebody else to do what they got to do if I'm not going to be that person or whatever the context is. So if I'm saying that no, it's because I know I either can't fully commit to that or it's not gonna be aligned, and yeah, I think I wouldn't really get the value of my experiences had I just done it all textbook perfect right away. I'm a believer that you don't have to do that, though. If somebody wanted help or something, like, I'm a believer that they don't have to go through a bunch of trials and stuff and tribulations to get closer faster, but I think, yeah, for me personally, like I had to get put through the ringer to really see and feel like, okay, like it's time for me to go for it the way I want to do it. Like I've already done this before. Like I've already heard the client who wants to do it this way and then I go and do it that way. It took me too many times, I would say. But
Last year, I'm gonna knock on you a little bit, but Go High Level may have invited you to, like, their affiliate whatever party at the summit, and it's probably all expenses paid or whatever. I don't know what they offer you guys, but Quinn said no to that, and I was looking forward to meeting Quinn at the summit, and he said no. So he's true to form. He maintained discipline there. He was
good.
locked in at the time, I
I
guess.
told yeah, I had told you that on message. In my mind, I was like, I'm not gonna go till I'm like invited, but I guess I was invited that way. I don't know. I just
Yeah. I think you
that's
were invited, dude. I think you were they might have said your name on stage. You'll never know. You didn't go. Let's see. Brandon says, "Any reason you use GHL AI over CloseBot?"
just simplicity. Like I don't think it's better. I haven't tested CloseBot too much. I built a really advanced bot at one point, and I feel like that or whatever CloseBot's using is probably better technically, but just for the sake of just simplicity, having it in one place. I was selling snapshots for that other external bot and people didn't know how to set up Zapier. So I just felt like it was creating like a wave of complexity that I didn't want to deal with. But I have nothing against that product or nothing to say about
Yeah,
that really.
it works. It works. I think that's good. Jamal asked, how much has niching down versus being a generalist impacted your business growth and scalability?
I think that is everything. I actually have a sheet that I put in my community where I literally did this at one point. I may have a shareable version or something I could share on the screen, but I basically wrote down all of the different services I had provided, how much money I made from them, and then what niche they were in and the results that I got.
Yeah.
And it is like a nerd thing. Like I made a spreadsheet for it. And I have this, like, it was basically so clear that I was spending the least amount of time with the investors. They were paying me the most and I was getting them the best results. And I don't think that's like a universal thing where like it's just about real estate investors. That was just my specific story. And I think just from then, there's nothing to me like that feeling of talking to the same type of person and creating that same offer to them liking it, and then installing and doing the same thing to me. Because I know I can be a little bit more creative in other ways. That's what my YouTube's for. I have my affiliate business. So I can afford to be a little bit more creative and come up with new stuff that's a little bit more scalable with creativity. But for me, when I'm essentially in a way the service, like as little as possible, you want to be trading that time for money. So for me, I want to have a clean scope of like where what I do starts and where what I do ends.
Mhm.
And I think when I didn't have a niche, it was like I'm dealing with this person and they have their own unique problems, and I'm still running the same general system, but they have their own problems, they have their own specific situations that are occurring. And so I think when I really was seeing, okay, I have 7 clients in 5 different niches and I'm running the same system, it's like, what if I just had 7 clients and I'm running one system for, and even that's hard enough for most people. So I would say that was like, I would say the biggest thing, because then you create like a flywheel. Like
Mhm.
now, if I get a testimonial, that testimonial is now insanely relevant to that next potential customer.
Lies. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's applicable. It's just 'cause
And
it's
then and my website and my marketing, everything comes to life when like you have a testimonial that feeds back into new people, and then the new people buy, and then you show the people that haven't bought that this person just bought, and then you show their results and you just create a nice flywheel. And I find that to be not as, it does not become as efficient when when you have different niches. It's like they're fragmented systems.
I
So
love that. That's so true. And I'm here on your website, by the way, it's unrelated, but I just noticed that I can't even scroll down on your website because there's nothing else to scroll down on. And this website is like the same website that I went to 3 years ago. I feel like it
yeah.
hasn't changed. So talk
There's no calendar there, or else there would be, but people
yeah,
ask me that all the time. I have
uh,
a one-page site, I've had that for 5 years, and that thing makes 6 figures a year, one page.
it's crazy.
That just goes to my SaaS, because here's another what obscurity that I've done with the agency that people don't do. So that site that you're on, that just, if you click the button, it goes to the software because I'm
Yeah.
not doing calls. But at one point, more recently, I do a paid call for agency services. So people pay $100 to actually see if what I do is a fit. And I did hundreds of those calls, and almost, it was like 60-70% of them they would buy, and it would either be the software or the done for you. So these are things that people don't even test the limits of, if
Mhm.
you can do this, because if you become an educator, now you can say, book a paid consultation with me, and I'm going to see if legitimately your business is a fit for what I can do and if I can help. And so there's nowhere to scroll because there was a paid calendar there, but for the last years, that was a paid call. It had the pricing for my service there. It had the pricing for the ad spend. All of it was up front, because That's another thing agencies don't do. They don't wanna put the price, they wanna do all this stuff manually, so I just like to test the limits of what you can do, because a lot of people will just say, "Oh, don't say the price, get them on the call, and then convert them, and then drop it," and I'm like, "But
I
then
think
that"
I also think people are tired of that stuff, man. I think that
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff
changed.
has worked in the past, and people are smarter than they're picking up on it. And so I always poo-poo on the value stacks. Oh, this is worth $19,000, and today you're gonna get it for $17. I don't know who in their right mind like actually believes that stuff, but I think people are tired of seeing that sort of style of marketing. So
Totally.
they
Yeah.
appreciate the upfront pricing. It's probably why that converted. And if they don't buy, you already got paid $100 for the.
Yeah, and they're a customer, and they would always feel, because I actually felt too, it made my consultation more valuable because I wasn't, even now I'm restrained with, I'm not trying to convert people to sign up, but it's just a great way, and it doesn't have to be $100 either. I think testing that stuff out too while you're getting going is valuable, because if stuff that these business owners don't know, it's worth them paying $30, $50 to get actual consulting from somebody who knows more about the tech or whatever you guys are selling. And then it doesn't put you in a position where you feel like you're even having to sell them, because your objective is to consult. And then if they're a fit, then great. And I never had anyone complain about paying for it. Like,
I bought like last year. I didn't want to bug you, so I just saw that calendar there and I bought and
oh,
we
that's right.
all and you showed me like appraisal software or submit this property, you get a sort of a range of
Oh, yeah, I remember
back.
that.
And most recently, I had somebody ask me if I knew of a tool of that, and I gave it to them. So I agree with you, man. And it makes you approach that call a little bit differently too, because they paid for it. So you're not going to show up there and slouch. Like you're actually going to try to provide value.
Yeah,
You might share your screen, you might share your tools, and all that stuff. And I think that's a good
totally.
way to create alignment. All right, we've got 8 minutes left. There's a few questions. I'm going to try to get to all of them. But is your strategy, Jamal asks, is your strategy to upsell the DIYers that aren't happy with results to done for you? Do you have a funnel there?
That Yeah, that has happened. It happens organically. All of what I do is pretty much organic. Like, I don't attempt to create upsell systems, or I just like to let it happen. So maybe I'm missing out on that stuff. But yeah, the people that are doing it themselves, like they'll message me and then they'll talk about how can I just have you do it? And one of my most recent textbook, if you could duplicate this, I would say this is textbook, was somebody had seen my videos, signed up to do it themselves. They pay the $297. They were running the ads for maybe a month or two, so it was like $600 I had collected. He closed a $60,000 deal from the ads, doing it all on his own, and then he was like, "I'm gonna use that to upgrade." I think that's textbook. I don't think that's gonna, like, just happen all the time, but yes, I've had multiple people, in fact, I'd have to look, but probably 60% of the clients I have right now done for you came from doing it themselves, so
That's a hidden little funnel right there, man. That was a good question, Jamal. Yeah, I
yeah.
would have even thought to ask that. That's awesome. Eric had a question, but he hopped out, so I'm gonna go to Austin. Austin says he hears all the time that people should work in their niche before they start an agency around that. Did you work in real estate prior to starting your agency? What's your take on that? And then he also has a question that says he checked out your site. Do you not have a guarantee?
That's funny. Alright, did you work yeah, so the way that I started was, I wasn't like a real estate agent, but yeah, I was like the first client that I had, or first 2, the first client was a mortgage broker, and then the second client was a real estate agent, and so they were partnered up just in the way that agents and lenders do. So I was just going to their offices. I was doing everything. I was doing websites. I was helping the individual agents. Yeah, I do feel like that in-person experience as well.
You weren't an agent or an investor yourself, right?
No, no. So it wasn't, yeah, that's the closest I got to what he was saying. But I do think, I know that helped, because I started to see firsthand the problems these people had. But I've never been an agent. I've never been an investor or anything like that. But I did work in and around real estate and people that are, yeah, basically agents and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Larry, one last question. So Larry be the last question, then I want to give you some time to just tell people how we can find you, how we can work with you. But Larry just asked if you wanted to build a YouTube channel, what are some suggestions? Just given your
I think you would agree too. Think about the most valuable thing that you know and then just give it away for free. I
dude,
think that'll work for everyone.
that's a beautiful equation. And like it should scare you a little
You
bit.
you
Yeah,
know it
man. It should
firsthand,
scare
dude.
you to give it away. And if it does scare you, it's right. And what's cool about it is you shouldn't be scared because 99% of people, I'll say 97% of people aren't going to finish the video. They won't do anything. The other 1% will finish the video, do nothing with it. They'll take it and run, and then one will just want to work with you. And so it's just a cool
Yeah,
dynamic. But yeah, just give it away.
that's what I would say.
Dude, I really appreciate this, man. I don't know that like have anything else. You answered
Yeah.
majority of my questions. Super generous of you. Thank you for everything you do on YouTube. Thank you for everything you do in your community and what you did today. How can people find you? I don't if you have something. I always tell people like people are like, "Hey, no, I won't pitch." But dude, if you have something to sell, if you have something, where people can work with you, just let us know. How do we find you?
Yeah, check out the YouTube, and then I am launching a little mini course inspired partly by Justin too, where I'm gonna show people the pay per lead system that we created for
Nice.
Jaime, and it's gonna be less than $30. So if you watch my YouTube and stuff like that when it comes out, you can check it out if you want. But that's it. Cool to hang out with you guys.
So good. I'll be a customer. Shoot us the link whenever you have the course published, and then I'll drop it in the community so people can buy that. But I think that's going to be good because we talked about distilling, and there was a question, I think Eric's question, and he left. Now, actually, it was something else. But people were just asking, like, how do you recommend we get started? And that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I
So
think
you set your
just
first lead.
yeah, it's easy. A suggestion I would say, and it easier said than done, but and it may hurt our YouTube channels, but get off YouTube, get off Facebook, get off all social media, like dial in your offer, pick your niche, get on the phone with those people and like just see what happens. Easier said than done, but
No, man.
it's so easy to get on YouTube and then this guy is saying, "Oh, he's
Dude.
using this thing." And then you just start creating problems you don't even have yet. And it's
Not only that, it's such good advice because not only do you create problems you don't have or start to go down rabbit holes you shouldn't, but by the end of the day, you realize, "Oh, I actually haven't even talked to anybody in my niche." And, like,
100.
most important thing is to talk to people. I'm sure you coach your real estate investors on this, like, how many offers are you making? Like, how many people are you actually calling? Like, you have to have these conversations, man, and you have to screw them up. I tell
Yeah.
people all the time, especially in real estate, I get people who ask me, like, "Man, how do you pitch a lowball offer?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. Get on the phone and do it and watch yourself stumble over these words the first time and the second time and the fourth time and the fifth time, and by the, like, seventh time, you're like it just rolls off the tongue, and, like, you have to get the reps in, but if you're just watching, it's just mental
Yeah.
stimulus, it's not gonna help you.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah,
So
go fast, Jamal.
that's even what it's even funny because that guy, Jaime, he was starting like very uncertain with just the pay per lead. And then he started to like, not, I don't know, but just feel like he was steering the ship now. And then I guess today, this guy didn't buy it yet, but he started pitching it like 75 per lead and then 1,100 for unlimited. And then he did some 5K thing. I mean, I could tell him what to do, but people just do what they're going to do. So I didn't tell him to do that. But it was just funny because, like, a few weeks ago, he was like trying to learn all this go high level stuff. And then now he's on the phone. He doesn't even do really touch. We were talking about that. He only touches
Mm.
3 to 5% a high level, and now he's trying to pitch some high ticket, like, thinking he's got all the so, I've seen it firsthand, like, it changes when you actually talk to people, and you get just takes one person, "Oh, yeah, I've been looking for some automation, and I haven't found anyone I like." That's it, that's the click,
The
the
most
light
important
bulb.
part, dude. The most important part. You're gonna learn so much from the conversation, even if you don't close the sale. Don't even try to close the sale the first 4 or 5 times. Just talk to people, and it just all starts to get clear. So,
Totally,
Quinn,
totally.
I'm not gonna take up any more of your time, man. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, and you're always welcome in the community. So
Thank
please
you.
share
Alright.
that link.
Yeah, hopefully it was valuable to you guys, and I'll see you around.
See you, man.
Alright.
Bye-bye.